Welcome to Recovery Recreation TV. I'm your host, Susie Lordy. I'm also the founder of a 501c3 nonprofit here in Massachusetts called 24 Hour Power, Inc. And we do recovery graffiti all over the state of Massachusetts. Now, the reason we started this television show was because people were coming up to us at events and saying, there's nothing fun going on where we live. Now, we know that's not true, but we also knew that we were going to make it our mission to go find out what's going on in everybody's zip code all over the state so that they can never say, hey, there's nothing fun going on. They just don't know yet. They haven't hung out with us yet. So this month, we're going to be talking with two heavy hitters, one from East Boston, one from Boston. And first up, we've got Michael Treyant. He is the executive director of the East Boston Boys and Girls Salesian Club.
Thank you, Susie. Very nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Boys and Girls Clubs, I mean, these guys have been around over 70 years.
It was founded in 45, yep.
You service way more than just East Boston too, right? I mean, you guys take care of people in Lynn and where else?
So East Boston and all surrounding communities, including Winthrop, Revere, Chelsea. We have the Brook Charter School across the street from us here. So they have kids from the other side of the tunnel. They take after school and out of school time stuff with us here. So we're really a big catch basin, absolutely.
Now, when we think of Boys and Girls Club, what ages are we talking?
We serve kids 5 through 18. And we pride ourselves on being strictly youth-based. In other words, when we have children in the building, we don't have a workout facility where, strange adults are coming in and out that may or may not have been quarried and sorried, and we don't know who they are. Programming for children only here at the club.
And I bet there's a variety of programs depending on the age group.
There sure is. We've been working really hard. I started here in January of 2018, and we have this great after-school program that serves close to 300 children a day, which is huge when you really think of it. We're blessed with a building that's close to like 40,000 square feet, and we have 10 or 12 different breakout areas, but part of us evolving and finding ways to be creative and serve more children was to come up with more creative, fun and enriching programs. So we've started STEM programming. We have science club that meets twice a week. We've started a book club. We have all types of sports leagues and gym activities. We have an art program now. We have a music program where we do drumming and chorus line with the kids. So the list just goes on, and the more kids that we get, the more opportunities we have to offer new programs. And
I'm sure that you adapted to a lot with Zoom too. I mean, I'm sure that you offered a lot of Zoom activities for the kids, but let's face it, Zoom isn't the same thing as in person.
Susan, it's not. It's very different. And unfortunately, the kids that we serve, a lot of them are like what you'd call high risk. They come from no parent households. They come from low income neighborhoods and houses. And with that, you have to get eyes on children to gauge their growth and gauge their safety. And I think that we, as a state, as a country, right, we all made some good decisions at the beginning of this. Back in March, we closed schools. And like you said, the Zoom stuff was great, but talking to other Boys and Girls Clubs all over the state, you barely hit it like 10 or 15% of your average daily attendance. So if we had 300 kids a day coming through our doors that we physically lay eyes on and we're sure that they're safe. And once we took to the Zoom and the virtual program, we were lucky if we got 25 or 30 kids a day participating in some of that programming. So it was nice that they got to see our faces, and we had a parade where we went around to kids' houses. We made signs. We gave kids backpacks filled with socks and hygiene products and some snacks and wiffle balls and sidewalk chalk and all sorts of stuff like that. And just to see the looks on their faces and to know that like they're cared for and they truly missed our staff, it really hits home in the relationships that you get to foster here at the club.
Now, were you a member back in the day?
Primarily, I was like a sports league kid, not so much an everyday after school kid, but the Boys and Girls Club was a big part of my childhood. It used to be down on Paris Street in a different section of East Boston. And then I went to Savio Prep High School, which was owned and operated by the Salesians of New Rochelle, New York. So for me, I get to come to work every day. I'm in my old high school gym building. I used to have some classes. The cafeteria was here. So it really, when I took this job, it was really a passion thing for me to come and give back to a community where I grew up and be a part or be the head of such an amazing organization that created so many opportunities for like hundreds of thousands of kids in East Boston through the years. So I'm blessed.
So if we're looking at the programs right now, like that you're able to offer for the fall,
Yep.
okay, what is a basic agenda look like? I've been on your website. I'm just curious if COVID changes stuff, or what do we got going on for the after-school homework program and stuff like that?
Normal after school is a drop-in program from 2:30 to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday. The cost of that program would be $50 per family. We have a chef that comes in. We were just given a brand new kitchen by the Shaw Family Foundation. So we have a brand new kitchen. We have a chef that would come in and cook a fresh cooked meal for them, healthy dinner for them. They'd do homework help. They'd have gym activity. The arts and crafts classes are pretty standard. And the big thing here is that each group of kids gets their own breakout area. So if you're a 6-year-old kid, you're not in the same area of the building as a 12 or a 13-year-old kid.
Right.
Strictly with like 5, 6, and 7-year-olds in a room where there's activities specifically designed for 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. Unfortunately, again, operating in this forever changing universe, we are going to have a full day program similar to our summer camp or one of our vacation week camp programs. We'll be open from 8 to 5, Monday to Friday in the fall. For kids to come, they can have a place, they can bring their laptops. We're working with the Belle Isle Rotary Club to get some headphones donated so each child can listen to their Zoom calls or meetings with their teachers and not disturb one another. Similar format to now, they'll be in groups of less than 10 kids. We will give them breakfast and lunch. We'll help them log into their meetings and their classroom work. We'll print up, whatever homework assignments or assignments they have for a day or a week. We'll help them with their work. And then at like 1, 2 o'clock, when the majority of the kids are done with the online learning portion of their day, the same group will travel around the building and utilize the gym and our field space that we have in the art room or the computer lab. And slowly we're getting some clinicians to commit to come in and do very small scale, drumming lessons for 6 kids.
Sure.
Where they can wear masks, they can socially distance, but they can learn something new and participate in a fun activity.
Wow. So you know what I'm thinking too? Now this is Monday through Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay, so parents that were petrified didn't know what to do because their kids were going to be home. So, I mean, in terms of them being able to go back to work, that's been a real dilemma. And now this takes that off the plate for them.
Yeah, that's the goal. The cost of the program will be like $125 per week for a child, but we have some community-based organizations that have kicked in some funding that we can give scholarships and make it as affordable as a parent needs. I think the number one goal here at the club is to make things as affordable as possible, and then on top of that, to never turn a parent away who has a financial need, and never let that be an issue for a child not being able to get the program.
So these guys are lucky to have you. So what have we got for fundraising activities for y'all this year?
We are celebrating our 75th anniversary here in East Boston. We tried to have a gala, a 75th anniversary gala, last May that unfortunately had to be postponed. We flirted with rescheduling it for this October, which isn't going to happen. So that's going to be in May of 2021. That'll be a really big, fun event at the Hilton Logan Airport. A lot of fun, live auction items, raffle prizes, interactive events and stuff throughout the night. Before that, though, we're going to have our golf tournament. We feel as though golf is still a very safe opportunity to do some fun things like you talk about and be outdoors, socially distanced. So September 21st at the Winthrop Golf Club, we're running a golf tournament. We have a great dinner afterwards, again, some fun raffles. But it's just a great day to kind of go out, make new friends, and support a neighborhood organization. I think that when you look at the 75-year history of the club, part of the success, a huge part of the success, is that tight-knit community that East Boston was and still is. People don't forget, even as people from East Boston, I always joke, move on up to the North Shore, right? Maybe Winthrop, maybe Saugus, and then if you really hit it big, you get to Linfield, But folks never forget where they came from, where their roots are, and the opportunities that they had as a child growing up here. So we're very lucky. We have some good people still involved with the club on our board of directors. Some other folks that continuously, give back and send donors our way. And as you know, running a nonprofit, you can only be as good as the community support,
If people want to get in touch with you and they want to be able to sign up for this tournament, what day is that? A Monday?
It's a Monday, yeah, 8:30 in the morning on a Monday, and it usually wraps by about, as early as 1:30, or you can stay as late as 5 or 6 o'clock sometimes. It'll be a shotgun start at 8:30. It's a 9-hole course. We usually have somewhere between 12 and 15 groups. It's a best ball format, so I tell my friends, even if you're not a good golfer, come out. There'll be a good golfer in your group that'll kind of carry you through the day, www.salesianclub.com, and it's on our Facebook page, which is Salesian Boys and Girls Club of East Boston.
And of course, if anybody wants any more information, they can always contact us directly, which is www.recoveryrectv.com. We'll have that and more up there about you.
You guys are wonderful. So important what you do. Thank you.
We're all in this together. We're here to help the kids. So
right.
That's our next generation, man. And, I feel very responsible for them, and I know you do as well. So we'll keep it up, and we'll navigate this new normal, and the kids are going to come out just fine.
Yep.
Anyways, Michael, thanks so much for joining us. Make sure to check out his website and check out the Facebook page. Sign up, give back. You'll have a blast. Okay, and on that note, we'll be right back with Marianne Frangoulis, the Executive Director of Massachusetts Organization for Addiction Recovery, aka MOAR, to talk about her event coming up, Recovery Day. But that'll be in a second. Till then, peace out. Welcome back to Recovery Recreation Television. I'm still your host, Susie Lordy. Don't think you can't have fun sober? You just haven't hung out with us yet. And now we have our returning guest, Maryanne Frangoules, the Executive Director of Massachusetts Organization for Addiction Recovery, aka MOAR, returning with us today to talk to us about the exciting things going on for MOAR's 30th anniversary. Wow.
Wow, this is exciting.
Well, we love having you. This isn't your first rodeo with us. When we were talking about your holiday party that you had that was phenomenal. And now we're going to talk about a totally different event coming up. But before we get to that, I'd like to talk about the whole roots thing of MOAR. Like, this has been around 30 years. And initially, this was founded with what purpose in mind, Maryanne?
Yeah, it was really founded to bring together people in recovery and their families and friends to educate the public about the value of living in recovery. However, when we first started, we were seeing lots of different changes in healthcare and how insurance was covering less for services. Alcohol and drug counselors were being replaced by other professions. And so we said, you know what? Why don't we get behind licensing for alcohol and drug counselors? And so we did. And it only took about 20 years to get it done, but we stuck with it, and which was really, really important. And that's not to say that other professions aren't good, but people should have the choice of knowing that there are alcohol and drug clinicians and that they are licensed and recognized by the state, and insurance will pay for the services provided by alcohol and drug counselors. But the other big thing, though, of course, we noticed was how our people were treated, that knowing that 80% of the people there in the prison system have addiction histories. And that is so, we are and were leaders for the criminal offender record information, so that it becomes, at one point in time, if you had a misdemeanor, it would be on your record for 15 years. Right. And that was unbearable. So we continue that fight. And then today, bringing out with racial justice, that it's so important, the connection between recovery, those of our members of our community that are Black and brown and deserve fairness.
If I may, I'd like to go back to the differences with the criminal records, right? So we started with the misdemeanor and how that, eventually evolved into something that MOAR was able to help with. What is your stance with Corey, the criminal background checks? Are y'all working on trying to change some of that legislation as well?
Well, we did definitely help to make positive changes, because now if you have a misdemeanor, it only is on your record for 3 years. The other piece is teaching people, which we learned from being in coalition, how to do job interviews, to be able to manage your strengths versus, oh my God, I got a criminal record.
Right.
Well, what that you've been doing? If you have 3 years put together and you no longer have that misdemeanor on your record, and you put together time and you have character references, that's great. So
absolutely.
Really and truly, yeah. And I know you see it every day with your artists.
And I tell them, I say, you know what? This is just one chapter in your life. That was a previous chapter. The one you're in right now is the one that matters. And what are you going to do with today? That's why I think it's wonderful that you offer so many different services to people that really don't know how to navigate the real world system, if you will. Not only that, but their family members. It's so important that people are familiar with and become members of MOAR. How many members do you have now in Massachusetts?
We've got about 2,500.
Wow.
But there are a lot of people that haven't officially joined that are, tremendous advocates and are members. So we have grown tremendously. And we have lots of ways for people to learn how to tell their story with purpose, point, and passion, which is remarkable. And I could say for myself, for somebody who was scared, lost, and lonely, that recovery and recovery supports and learning how I had to move from isolation to getting with people of positive mind, to be able to feel grounded in my own recovery, and I don't take it for granted. So that's really, really important. And there's so many people with strong recovery. We want to say you're people who are faces are visible, whose voices are vocal, can prove that recovery is valuable, even in this very virtual world.
Okay, this is great. It's wonderful when it comes to policies and procedures, because we do need a voice, and we need a collective voice and a place where we can get resources from. And your website alone is a treasure trove of information for people. Yeah, it's huge for people in our community to know what's going on and where they can find it. I mean, you're like a one-stop shop when you go on there, from treatment centers to AA meetings to policy changes, everything. And the Zoom meetings that you offer, which I highly recommend to people. These Zoom meetings really let you know what's going on in your state. It's a big deal. We wouldn't know them if we weren't on them, believe me. The things that are going on, it gives you a lot of hope too, to see that even during this crazy pandemic, so many things are actually moving forward and are working right now, including the work that MOAR does behind the scenes. So now let's get to Recovery Day, which is always our favorite time of the year, September. Go ahead. Let's hear what it's going to be this year. I know it's going to be a little different.
Oh my goodness, yes. It's September 23rd is going to be our Recovery Day. And instead of marching down Cambridge Street into Faneuil Hall and saying, join the Voices for Recovery, celebrating connections, we'll have to do it virtually. We will have a zoomed up day. It'll be great. We will have people speaking. We will have an artist gallery. We will have artists sharing from singing their artwork in a very, very wonderful way. And then we might even have some comedy, which will be excellent. And then we may have a resource fair. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a wonderful celebration. And you can just see it all on the big screen or little screen, depending on your wishes.
How long does it go from, Marianne?
At this point, and it could change, it could be from 10 o'clock to approximately 4 o'clock. And in the evening, we're just going to sign the little dotted lines there, have a comedy show. So, yes. And hopefully it'll be something where people can sit and have fun and laugh.
This is the first year. I'm very excited for it because I'm going to be able to actually see everything that's going on in MOAR's lineup, which is really neat for me. I'm thrilled.
Yeah, well, we are thrilled that you will be there because we truly love to have you come and have you also encourage other artists. You do such wonderful work. You're a mentor to so many.
Oh, thank you. Now, if people want more information on how to get involved with this, whether you're an artist, whether you're, say, a comedian or someone that wants to bring something to the table for, is this just for Recovery Day or Recovery Month that they should be thinking of?
Throughout the month, absolutely. We will be offering different ways to be involved throughout the month, which is going to be really, really important because we don't want people to get excited for the day and the day leaves. We really want people to share their story, share their talents, share their skills in whatever way is helpful to them. And people do it in different ways.
And if they want more information now about this, about how to even get involved and maybe forward some video clips or pictures to MOAR that you guys may want to use throughout the month in addition to Recovery Day, where should that go?
MOAR, MOAR, hyphen, that little dash in the middle, recovery.org. And then you'll see a big piece on Recovery Month. You click it, and there's also the artist application on it, which people can just put it in there. And then from there, you can also join MOAR and get on our list.
I do want to let people know how important being a member of MOAR is. Because I was just looking at some of the topics on the newsletters, and honestly, when I was looking at, say, just July's, you cover everything from racial justice, right, to overcoming COVID, to telehealth. I mean, everything we could possibly want to know about in Massachusetts, you're on. It's like getting a Cliff Note version of here are the topics, here's what's going on, and here's what you need to know. And how you can get involved. And that's really what everyone needs with their busy lives today. I think as someone in long-term recovery, which I know you are as well, and so am I, it's so important that we share resources that are available that stay current and stay on top of what's going on. You're going to see something that, boom, here's the next event, here's the next Zoom meeting, here's the next, it's very up to date. You guys stay on top of the issues and you bring the news as it's reported live. You're like our news station, really.
That is so wonderful. I love hearing that.
Yeah, and as soon as this is all over, Marianne, we'll still be doing the in-person events. That'll be right around the corner.
Oh, yes. I think everybody is looking forward to it. We all love the way we can connect through Zoom, and we'll always keep part of it alive. But, yeah, we definitely got to be together.
And that, my friends, is a wrap for this edition of Recovery Recreation Television. Don't think you can't have fun sober. You just haven't hung with us yet. So until next time, stay safe and peace out. Now, before we end this show, I invite you to join us for a moment in silence of a very good friend of ours, Keith Mize. Keith was a master artist in recovery. He was a huge part of 24 Hour Power's recovery graffiti movement. He was a graffiti artist for 26 years and a tattoo master for 11 years. He worked on recovery for the past 9 years, and he put together more than 2 years of consecutive sobriety very recently. So please join us. Join everyone, actually, whose lives he's touched with his incredible talents. From London to Copenhagen, to Berlin, to Toronto, and so many more hearts worldwide. We've all been touched together. So please join us as we remember our friend. His legend will live on with every can of spray paint we raise in the name of recovery. Rest well, big guy. See you on the other side.